Tonight, the latest bungle at Wagga Base Hospital. Junior doctors go a month without pay. The health department under pressure to explain. Urana's cries for flood help have been heard. The state government's declared the Shire a natural disaster zone. And another close call at Temora. Races were brought forward to avoid another washout.
This is PRIME7 News with Natalie Forrest.
Good evening, welcome to PRIME7 News. I'm Natalie Forrest filling in for Doug Hogan, who's on a well-deserved holiday. Also in tonight's local news, how the federal health reforms will affect regional areas. And Charles Sturt University unveils a new logo and long-term strategy. More on that shortly. The health department has apologised to 71 junior doctors at Wagga Base Hospital who've gone 4 weeks without being paid, and 4 of the juniors are still waiting for the mistake to be fixed. It first came to light when a frustrated doctor complained to a local election candidate who slammed the state government over the bungle. A truck crash has blocked the Newell Highway for several hours. These pictures were provided by Grong Grong locals Jackie and Jamie McArdle. The truck, full of carcasses, tipped on a well-known bend of the highway coming into Grong Grong Saturday afternoon. A passerby helped the driver to safety. Paramedics treated him for just cuts and bruises, while emergency crews tried to clear the wreck from the middle of one of the most important trucking routes in country New South Wales. Salvage workers only just cleaned up from a previous crash down the road. A truck full of pumpkins crashed on the Burley Griffin Way just out of Cootamundra. The 24-year-old driver from Leeton also escaped serious injury, but the truck was a write-off. And remember, if you see news happen, you can send us your pics to 0408 My News. Close to 200 people have gathered in Gundagai to protest against a neighbour they describe as childish. Protesters want Rod Magnone to sign over part of his land in Sheridan Lane to Gundagai Council. But Mr Magnone says it's his right to wait for a fair deal on the land and won't sign for free. Negotiations have broken down and Gundagai Council's closed the road until a deal is reached. Protest organiser Anne McDonald says the rally was popular, but she doesn't expect it to make a difference. Regional hospitals will be exempt from many of the health reforms agreed to by the Prime Minister and states. Julia Gillard described last night's deal as a huge step forward. Today, the Premier conceded the big changes to funding city hospitals won't work in the bush. More appropriate courses and more fun for students. That's the basis of Charles Sturt University's new long-term strategy. Around the state, CSU staff put down their textbooks to launch the new strategy and with it, a new logo. Wagga police are investigating 3 violent assaults over the weekend. A 26-year-old Irish national was left with a broken leg after he was attacked on the dance floor at the Capital nightclub. A 58-year-old Coringal man was attacked during an argument with neighbours in his Barella Street unit block. He was flown to Canberra Hospital with bleeding on the brain. And a 39-year-old Cowra man has been bashed by 2 men in Fitzmaurice Street. Witnesses say the 2 men got out of a white Commodore sedan and tackled the 39-year-old, kicking him repeatedly. Police hope to hear from witnesses to any of the attacks through the Crime Stoppers number 1800 333 000. Well, after more rain over the weekend, Wagga's on its way to its wettest February in 140 years. On day 14, we're already double the average and just 20 mils short of the record. Here's a brief look at what the weather has in store for us with Dan.
Thanks, Nat. Hi, everyone. Good to see you. Well, tomorrow, chance of an isolated shower or 2. An increased chance of showers on Wednesday, but it's the weekend where we see a little bit more coming. I'll tell you more on that real soon. See you then.
Thanks, Dan. An internationally renowned research lab is looking for local people to become olive oil taste testers. We'll tell you why next on PRIME7 News. And from Tumut, swimmers cover 1,800 kilometres in the pool to raise money for cancer research. PRIME7 News is going into election mode this week in preparation for the upcoming state vote. We've already covered several local election issues in the lead up to March 26. This week, PRIME7 News will air in-depth interviews with each of the candidates for the seat of Wagga Wagga. First cab off the rank is tomorrow night. We plan to do the same with the seats of Burrinjuck and Murrumbidgee in coming weeks, so stay watching for that. Urana faces a $1 million damage bill after last week's flash flooding. It's the third flood to hit Urana in 5 months. The Shire's now been declared a natural disaster zone. That's the one bit of good news for residents, farmers, business owners and council. It means they can apply for assistance from the state government. More than 200 swimmers have waded into a marathon fundraiser at Tumut on the weekend. The swimathon was supposed to run for 24 hours, but amazingly every lane filled up and the swim just kept going. And congratulations to Tumut Mayor Trina Thompson, who edged out Gundagai Mayor Ab McAllister in the local swim-off. But congrats also to Wagga MP Daryl Maguire, who beat them both in the pouring rain to win the celebrity swim. If you've ever been curious about the world of olive oil tasting, or even if you didn't know such a world existed, now's your chance to be involved. The Olive Oil Sensory Panel says volunteers are crucial for the industry.
For many people, taste testing sounds like a dream job. But what about for olive oil? The Olive Oil Sensory Panel is looking for volunteers to support the olive oil industry. But what does it take to be an olive oil taster?
Being human, everybody is different, and we look at the aptitude for whether they can discern any differences between a good and a bad oil. That's the first step.
Some of us may have hoped to sample expensive chocolates today, but Peter says a world of tastes and aromas await anyone who'd like to volunteer for the olive oil tasting.
I think everybody's got it in them. I think everybody has the ability. It's what we do in the training is awaken people's senses to the subtle differences there are in olive oil.
He even showed me the ropes.
It kind of tastes like rocket with an aftertaste of pepper.
I was slightly on the right track, but to get it right, the volunteers need to do training once a fortnight for 20 weeks, starting in March, and the panel needs about 20 people to replenish the number of tasters on the panel.
The objective that we're looking for is to get people to volunteer and then become members of the Australian Olive Oil Sensory Panel.
The work is also extremely important for the olive oil industry. Producers need chemical and sensory evaluations before they export. Wagga's Ag Institute hosts Australia's only sensory panel recognised by the International Olive Council, and it evaluates oils from all over the world. If you're interested, you need to contact the Wagga Wagga Ag Institute by the end of this week. Cassandra Huff, PRIME7 News.
Sports up next. A Wagga cycling veteran makes a surprise comeback. The AFL's newest footy team announces plans for Wagga. And the Temora Gift men's final turns out to be a stunner. You'll see it here next on PRIME7 News. After last year's washout, the Temora Gift this time lived up to all the hype. Central Coast sprinter Tom Pavola claimed the $7,000 purse in a memorable finish to a great day's racing. The 2010 Golden Wheel Cycling Classic was also a non-event last year due to rain, but this weekend it produced a worthy winner. Dubbo's Andrew Taylor blew the field away to win his second Golden Wheel, while veteran Wagga rider Bill Robinson grabbed third. Yass has won the Stribley Shield final, inflicting more pain on Wagga's representative cricket season in the process. Wagga hasn't won this competition for a decade, and playing at Robertson Oval was the perfect advantage to turn it around. Wagga's Sam Whitfield let loose and, as you can see here, was unorthodox at times. There were some hot chances that Yass could have taken advantage of. Grant Wells was the rock of the innings as he pushed Wagga to 205 from its 50 overs. It wasn't the best of starts for Yass. The Wagga boys had plenty to shout about early, but Joel Cook steadied the ship for the visitors, and the fielding got sloppy at times. Yass passed the total with 4 wickets in hand and continue Wagga's 10-year Stribley Shield drought. New AFL franchise Greater Western Sydney will build a centre of excellence in Wagga. Swans legend and local boy Paul Kelly now works for GWS. He's backed the move to develop the region's best juniors and mature-aged players. Wagga Greyhound Club's president has been honoured at the Sports Night of Nights. Darren Hull was named Volunteer of the Year in a ceremony at Sydney's Hilton Hotel on Saturday night. Darren's been rewarded for his hard work and dedication to the Wagga Club. He's put in full-time hours for an unpaid position over the years and was a driving force in moving the club to TAB racing, which has proved a success. Well done, Darren. And that's the sport. Dan has all your local weather next.
G'day everyone, I hope you've had a wonderful weekend. Back to it, another week at it, and should be mostly fine conditions around the region over the next couple of days. But that's until we see some showers develop into Wednesday, and then again later in the week into Saturday as well. And there could be some reasonable numbers in all of that. So if you've got any outside chores to do, hang the washing out. It's a bit iffy, but get it done before Wednesday. 30 today, got to 27 at Young, 27 at Tumbarumba in town, 17 to 27 the range there. And as we have a look at the other centres, 28 at Harden, and Temora was the same. Tumut and Lockhart, the winners, tops today, 31 degrees for your Monday as we start the day. Around the storages now, Blowering holding firm at 100%, Wyangla just shy of 93%, and Burrinjuck is at 93.1. Well, on the synoptic chart, a little bit of trough activity, some light low-level cloud causing the small chance of an isolated shower, but we'll see what develops in towards Wednesday. As I said, a higher chance then. There could be 10 to 20 millimetres likely, and then a bit hanging around the weekend. Quite warm up north, cloud cover, clears, bit of blue sky, then we see that the cloud come back with an isolated shower for tomorrow. 15 tonight, 27 for Wagga, 27 at Kuta, and it's mid to high 20s through most centres. Mid-teens tonight, mid to high 20s tomorrow. Tumut heading for 27, a slight chance of a shower. This is for Tuesday, but the increased chance of shower is on the cards for Wednesday, and again in particular on Saturday. Let's just check that out. 50, we then get to a 60% chance, but on Saturday it is a 90% chance, and the temperatures, well, midweek up to 30, hovering around what we've got, mid to high 20s. So there could be on Wednesday 10 to 20 mil. There could be another 10 to 20 on Saturday. Hope that doesn't affect you too much. Don't forget, folks, if you want to check the latest, you can, or if you want to send us in a photo, you can always do that too. That's weather at prime7.com.au. I'll catch you again tomorrow. See you, Nat.
Thanks, Dan, and thank you for your company tonight. Stay tuned for more news and weather tonight on Prime 7. You can stay up to date online at prime7.com.au. Good night.